Hello Cancer, and welcome to your reading for January 2019. Happy New Year! Welcome to the start of 2019. My name is Melanie and this is a general reading for all Cancers out there, Sun, Moon and Rising signs. If this resonates with you, awesome. If it doesn't, totally awesome as well. Perhaps this reading isn't for you at this time. Feel free to look at other amazing readers on YouTube or come back another time. Sometimes I really resonate with a reading from one reader one month and the next month with the same reader doesn't feel right at all. So whatever works for you. Hey, I'm using two different decks today. I use the Tattoo Tarot cards, which you can see there, and I also use cards from sort of like an oracle card, which I'll shuffle and choose at the end for you guys from the Dreamtime set of Dreamtime Reading Cards. I'm going to leave details of both sets of cards down below after this reading, and let's just jump right in. So we have 5 cards for lovely Cancers from the Tattoo Tarot deck. The first card there is past energy, and that's the 5 of Swords. The second card there represents your present situation, present issues in January. You guys got the 2 of Swords. The third card there represents possible obstacles for you guys for the month of January. You got the Knight of Coins, which is otherwise known as the Knight of Pentacles. The fourth card is the 9 of Wands, which is possible helpful tools for you guys in January. And the final card there is the outcome card for the month of January for you guys, and you got the Knave of Swords. Knave is also the Page in other decks, so the Page of Swords. And yeah, after I've gone through that, I'm going to shuffle from the Dreamtime Reading Cards and choose one card which will be the overall theme for the month of January 2019 for lovely Cancerians. Beautiful little crabs crawling on the sand there. Okay, so the general consensus, I guess, from this reading, you guys have a lot of swords. So 3 out of the 5 cards there are swords cards, and swords are about thoughts, thinking, words, communication, truth, matters of the mind basically. So it seems like you've come from a lot of heavy stuff in the mind, some conflict, and that's sort of still going on or playing out perhaps in the month of January. Get the sense that there's definitely been some battles. You're a bit battle weary. There's been some conflicts, some arguments kind of going on. Perhaps that nobody really won. You're kind of in a bit of a stalemate now, a bit indecisive. I'm wondering if you're a little bit stuck in your head. I'm going to go through each card in more detail to sort of explain this a bit more, but this is kind of what I wondered was overall going on. And you kind of right now perhaps, or what might be useful right now, is to rest a little bit from all this sort of conflict or dramas. And if you do this, that will have a positive outcome. The Knave of Swords there suggesting that there could be a positive ending, I suppose, to whatever's been going on if you do certain things. So what exactly do I mean by that? So the past energy you have is the 5 of Swords. So 5s are not an awesome card to get, shall we say, but there's always good things that come from bad things, shall we say. So the 5 of cards really, the 5 of Swords, is about conflict. Winning a conflict, coming through a battle, but with really mixed feelings. Like you may have won, I'm going to say won the battle, you know, but nobody really won. There's a sense of deviousness to this card. Perhaps you've been that way to try and win, or another person has. Like brute force has been used, like not a lot of really good thinking. There's kind of almost no thinking, even though this is a sword card to do with the mind, but it's kind of not in a helpful way, shall we say. Perhaps there's been some real difficulty that you've had communicating your ideas to other people. There's sort of a degree of like pointlessness to the battles that you've had to engage in, that and like with the deviousness, perhaps there's been some cowardly acts or cowardly words that have been thrown about. Perhaps too you've had some stories in your head about what's been going on, and that's always the way we choose to interpret things, and perhaps sometimes we don't always see reality. We can be very stuck in our own subjective experience because we so want what we want, and that kind of closes you off to other things, and often when we're in that state, we're coming from a position of sort of insecurity and instability, and we don't feel so good, or we're feeling quite inadequate and sort of on the defense. So you may have conquered something, but at what cost, I would sort of say, because it's not a kind of a happy fight. And really, what is a good fight? I'm not sure. Conflict is inevitable, but the way we repair that rupture and breakdown in relationships is more important often than the actual conflict itself. So moving on to the second card, which I think is very connected to the past energy, the Five of Swords, past energy, the present issues and situation. You have the Two of Swords. So the Two of Swords, we can really see there is perhaps a bit of blindness. I would wonder too what's really happening. This is about being at a bit of a stalemate, sort of balancing things okay, balancing beliefs or ideas, particularly which have caused a conflict, but there's a real struggle in that, struggle to sort of maintain that kind of control and balance. Two of Swords meaning as well with the two, sort of being between things. Maybe there is, you're in between jobs or in between relationships, in between houses. There's something which has caused disruption. Clearly we can see in the Five of Swords, disruption in your life. And right now in your sort of position, sort of holding, like you're slightly victorious. You're holding her swords in the traditional image of the cards. The woman is sitting there blindfolded in holding the swords up quite firmly against her chest, I think in quite a defensive position, but she can't see. There's still things unseen and unknown, I would say, that's come from this past conflict. Perhaps there's too many options for you right now and you're having to make a choice, but you're not quite there yet. Eventually, though, you do have to make a choice, and perhaps tuning into getting out of your head, taking off the blindfold, so to speak, seeing more objectively, seeing from a bigger perspective might be helpful, getting some distance and really tuning in now perhaps to the universe, to your intuition, asking for some guidance that way, being a bit more humble, perhaps in helping you to make a decision and resolve this conflict that is going on outside of you, or could be going on within you, of course. The third card in your reading, possible obstacles right now, as if you need any more. So you guys got the Knight of Coins, or the Knight of Pentacles. So the meaning in this card usually is sort of, it's a card about routine, perseverance, responsibility, decency, patience, a methodical kind of person, reliable and hardworking, being able to finish a task and stuff like that. It can also be about being a bit too conservative in some things and having an inability to look outside the box, as well as having some really good defined future goals. It's a card of action, has action energy about it, but perhaps don't be overly focused on practical stuff right now. So this could be suggesting as an obstacle that you are being a bit too conservative. You are still, like with the Two of Swords, not seeing broadly enough, and being quite stuck in a conservative state and in this kind of really rigid, perhaps ways of thinking that are blocking you from stepping down perhaps off the high horse a bit, you or somebody else. I'm not necessarily saying it's you, but this is a reading about whoever's watching it. So And stepping down off the high horse, you know, the Knight of Coins, he, being a knight, he is sitting on a horse. And look, you can see there he's holding a coin. So that's actually a good card of financial blessings, professional movement, stability, coming and going of important matters to do with money. So maybe this issue or conflict has been about work situation for you, or financial issues, a business or something like that. But right now, because of this conflict, this stalemate right now, you're really kind of locked in a position, which I think you've perhaps may have created for yourself somehow, and not really being flexible enough with that. So just that's an obstacle for you guys this month. So I guess the challenge is to think outside the box, loosen up a little bit, and use, say, the next card, the fourth card, the Nine of Wands, which is what could be helpful this month. To me, this card suggests what could be helpful is just kind of resting a bit, you know. Nine of Wands is a card of sort of recovery after conflict, or after illness, after an accident. It's strength in adversity, you know. And boy, I think you guys have been through some adversity at some point in time. There has been a test of faith, you know. You have been very resilient and very persistent. And this is a 9, so you're nearly at the end of whatever this is, you know, 9 being close to 10, 10 being the end of a cycle. But you're not quite there yet, and you have to kind of conserve your energy just to push on a little bit more. So you might be holding things a little too close to you still, or a little too defensive still. So I'm just like suggesting to just relax right now, to recover from whatever's going on. Gather yourself a bit more. I don't know, maybe even speak to some people around you, or do some sort of internal work of meditating, like I said, connecting to the universe, tuning into that kind of stuff, perhaps connecting into a bit more feeling stuff, so you get a more well-rounded picture of the situation around you right now. Have you lost touch with a lot of that stuff? I think you really need to take a bit of a breather, you know, and get some perspective, you know, but don't force that. You don't want any more battles, I think, in your life right now. So perhaps doing that, taking stock, gathering some more gentle energy before pushing on to the end will be really useful for you guys this month. So the outcome card for this month, you guys have the Page of Swords, or the Knave of Swords as it's called in the Tattoo Tarot deck. I love that deck. So Page, you know, the Page is sort of quite a young energy. So the outcome, you know, could be, it's certainly, you know, about starting over again. The Page comes after the 10, and you don't have a 10 here, but you've got 9, then the Page. So it's like the 10 is kind of missing. But I think if you go through this process and you get to the Page of Swords, he's a pretty kind of happy dude, you know, young, lots of energy, quite exuberant, perhaps a little bit too wild and crazy with the energy. This is a young person with a sword, you know, which doesn't quite have the maturity of an older person or a more wise person with a sword. So just be careful of that. It's about starting over again, you know, from say the desolation of the 10 of Swords. It's about making positive changes in your life that bring rewards, even though there may be a bit of hesitation. You know, this is sort of coming to a place where you're quite curious, mentally alert, you want to investigate. There's a lot of transformative energy in this card as well. So hopefully throughout all this you would be blessed with some more insight throughout this month, and just kind of chilling a bit. I think, like I said, with the excuse me, 9 of Wands card, when you kind of gather yourself and get a bigger, broader perspective, you gain more insight, and you can then have a fresh kind of sense of fresh energy, while still sort of being mentally alert and playful, you know, fun, maybe getting through all of this and having more of a fun mental energy about you. It's a bit of a caution though about being a little bit too worried about what other people think. So I don't know, it's kind of almost like you've gone from one extreme to the other, but I think just being aware of that, detaching yourself from a lot of the head stuff would be really useful, and a lot of this head stuff, not just what you think of yourself, but fears and concerns or worries about what other people think of you, so that you can get into this kind of youthful, transformative energy here and have a different way of thinking, kind of like a youthful way of thinking about things, like, oh, look at that, oh, look at that, you know, kind of going in with this fearless, curious kind of spirit, playful kind of energy here. This could well be the outcome, which is a positive outcome if you kind of do follow this path through the cards here. And I think particularly rest, like the Nine of Swords says after the Nine of Wands suggests to do after the battle, and you'll come out with a more younger kind of energy. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but he's certainly on a bit of a journey here. So look, I'm just going to now get the Dreamtime reading cards and just shuffle them on camera. Let me just check that. This is what they look like. So these are beautiful cards. Dreamtime is the Aboriginal Australian spiritual belief kind of system. So what I'm going to do, I haven't done this before, I'm going to shuffle them on camera and then choose one. And this is going to be the overall theme for you guys. And then I'm just going to read from the booklet about what the card means that comes out for you guys, being the overall theme for the month for Cancer in January 2019. That's going to come up here, and I'm going to go for this one. So you've got Night Sky, Soul Journey. Oh, isn't that interesting? Beautiful dot painting there, typical of Aboriginal Australian art. I'm going to rest it there. Night Sky, Soul Journey. What does that mean for you guys? I'm just going to read the blurb. Here we go. Have you ever sat outside on a crystal clear night and gazed up at the millions of stars, the moon and the planets that sparkle above? The night sky is your connection to places you have never seen or known. Different constellations are visible at different times of the year and from different corners of the world, but it's the same moon that shines down on all of us. The night sky reminds you of your own soul's journey, connecting you with your past lives, the cosmos, and even the possibilities of intergalactic beings, the star people. It has been used as a form of record keeping since ancient times. Our ancestors familiarized themselves with the constellations, planets, asteroids, and comets. They used this knowledge to plan journeys, to better understand the weather, and to navigate when journeying on foot or at sea. The night sky represents your own life map. It reflects your journey in this life, and like the sky, it is vast and unfathomable, I hope I said that right, in its entirety. The night sky reminds you that you must understand that you're only one tiny part of a whole universe that spans beyond what you can ever see or ever wish to understand. When you draw the night sky card, it is urging you to take the time to gaze into the sky above you, become aware of the constellations you can see from your home, and maybe study the legends surrounding them. I just think that is awesome. So the way I interpret this card, particularly in relation to your reading, is to broaden your perspective. I think there's way too much. I'm just going to get a daggy old pencil here. I think there's this conflict, and now you're way too much in your head, and you need to broaden your perspective a lot, kind of thing. Not get stuck in too much sort of conservative, trapped kind of thinking there, being stuck too much in your head, too subjective. This dude is sort of way out in the open, like, woohoo, I mean, he's sort of done it. He's a lot more kind of tuned in, I think, to the energy around him, but perhaps gone a little bit too much the other way. So this is sort of saying, be wise, perhaps, in loosening up a little. You know, maybe actually going outside at night, tuning into the stars. To me, that is just such a profound and beautiful way of connecting to the universe, or whatever, God, you know, whatever belief system you have, whatever beliefs you have. But seeing that whatever the hell is going on here, really, how important is that? You know, maybe this is about pride as well, being so determined to win. Nobody wins in the end. You know, we're all just a tiny piece. We're tiny, tiny dots. Really, is this shit gonna matter? No, you know, it's not really worth it. So pick your battles. Be humble, I would say. Get back to yourself, get back to the universe, and you hopefully will have a good outcome this month. Quite an intense way to start the year, I must say. So look, I wish you guys all the best, Cancers. Take care, huh? Maybe you do need to retreat back into your little shells for a bit. You know, might be a bit battle weary, but don't close yourself off too much. You know, there's still lots of awesome stuff. This is the start of the year, you know, so get it going on a good foot. Hey, so thank you for listening to this reading. I hope it's been useful. Take what you like and leave the rest, and I'll see you guys for the month of February. All the best.